Lieutenant Commander Kim Ji-woo rubbed her tired eyes as she monitored the sensor readings on her station. The Deep Space Patrol had been uneventful for the past 3 weeks. The ECS Sentinel, a mid-sized Earth Coalition patrol vessel, drifted through the empty region between star systems. Most of the crew called this area the Void because nothing interesting ever happened here. Ji-woo suppressed a yawn. Her shift would end in 2 hours, and she was already thinking about the hot meal waiting in her quarters. Suddenly, her console beeped with an alert. She sat up straight, instantly alert. The sensors had detected something unusual, an energy signature that pulsed in a strange pattern. She ran the signature through the ship's database, but found no matches. She double-checked her readings, thinking it might be an equipment malfunction. "That's odd," she muttered to herself. The signature was real, and it didn't match any known ship or natural phenomenon. "Captain Park, you need to see this," she called, not taking her eyes off the display. Captain Park Tae-hyun walked over from his command chair. He was a tall man with salt and pepper hair and a face marked by years of space travel. The blue light from the holographic display highlighted the lines around his eyes. "What have you found, Lieutenant Commander?" he asked. "An energy signature I can't identify, sir. It's about 2 light hours from our position." Ji-woo pointed to the pulsing dot on her screen. "It doesn't match anything in our records." Captain Park leaned closer. "Could it be a new alien species?" "I don't think so, sir. The pattern has elements that look like human engineering, but far more advanced than anything we've developed." Park's eyebrows rose. "Plot a course. Let's check it out." The Sentinel changed direction and accelerated toward the mysterious signal. The crew became more alert as word spread about the strange discovery. After several hours, they reached the coordinates. "Dropping out of FTL, sir," announced the pilot. The view screen showed empty space at first. Then Ensign Lee Min-ho adjusted the ship's external cameras and gasped. "Sir, you need to see this." The image on the screen shifted, and everyone on the bridge fell silent. Floating in the darkness was an enormous ship. It was black and sleek, with a design unlike anything they had seen before. Its surface seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. "It's huge," whispered Min-ho. "I'd estimate it's at least 3 times the size of our largest battleship." Captain Park stood up slowly. "Any signs of life or activity?" "No, sir," replied Ji-woo, checking her readings. "The ship appears to be dormant. No movement, minimal power output, just enough to maintain the energy signature we detected." "Take us closer, but maintain safe distance," ordered Park. "And keep our shields up, just in case." The Sentinel carefully approached the mysterious vessel. As they drew closer, they could see more details of its strange hull. It had weapon emplacements that looked both familiar and alien at the same time. "Those cannons," Ji-woo pointed out. "They follow basic human design principles, but the materials and configuration are like nothing in our arsenal." She ran a detailed scan of the ship's hull and studied the results. Her eyes widened as she read the data. "Sir, according to these readings, the materials in that ship shouldn't be possible with our current technology. The alloys and composite structures would require manufacturing techniques centuries beyond what we can do now." Captain Park frowned. "Are you suggesting this is an experimental ship?" "If it is, sir, it's not from any Earth Coalition program I've ever heard of. This technology is too advanced. It would be like showing a steam engine to people who had just invented the wheel." The Sentinel moved closer, and they turned on the ship's powerful searchlights. The beams swept across the dark hull until they illuminated writing near what appeared to be the command section. Min-ho zoomed in the cameras. "Captain, there's a name and designation." The letters stood out clearly against the dark surface. "ECS CHRONOS." "ECS." Park's voice was barely audible. "That's an Earth Coalition ship designation." "Yes, sir," said Ji-woo. "But there's no record of any ship called Kronos in our database. I just checked again." The bridge fell silent as they all stared at the mysterious vessel. It was clearly of human design, yet built with technology that shouldn't exist yet. and it carried the designation of their own fleet. "Prepare a boarding team," Captain Park said at last. "I want to know what that ship is and where it came from." Jumu felt a chill run down her spine as she looked at the dormant giant. Something told her that the discovery of the Kronos would change everything they knew about space, time, and humanity's place among the stars. As they began preparations for boarding the mysterious vessel, none of them could have imagined the incredible truth waiting inside, or the danger that followed the Kronos across time and space. The small shuttle departed from the ECS Sentinel, carrying the carefully selected boarding team toward the mysterious vessel. Lieutenant Commander Kim Ji-woo sat in the lead seat, trying to hide her mix of excitement and fear. Captain Park had chosen her to lead this mission after her discovery of the strange ship. "Everyone remember the protocols," Ji-woo said to her team. "No touching anything without clearing it first. Stay in visual contact at all times." Beside her sat Engineer Choi Tono, a quiet man with steady hands and a brilliant mind for solving technical puzzles. In the rear compartment, Dr. Yoon Sung-ho checked his equipment one last time. As the ship's xenobiologist, he studied alien life forms, but Captain Park wanted his expertise in case they encountered anything unexpected. 2 minutes to docking," announced Chunho, studying the shuttle's instruments. "I'm detecting an airlock that seems compatible with our systems." The shuttle approached the massive black hull of the Kronos. Up close, the ship looked even more imposing. Its surface seemed to bend light around it in subtle ways that made it hard to focus on. "Look at the hull," Dr. Yoon said, pressing his face against the viewport. "No visible seams. It's like it was grown rather than built." The shuttle's docking mechanism extended and connected with the airlock. Green lights confirmed a secure seal. "Atmosphere reads as breathable," Junho reported. "Pressure normal. Temperature slightly cool but within safe range." Jiwoo nodded. "Helmets on until we confirm it's safe." She activated her suit's recording systems, beginning boarding operation of unknown vessel designated ECS Kronos at 900 hours. The team entered through the airlock, weapons ready. Inside, emergency lighting cast a soft blue glow across sleek corridors. The design was streamlined and elegant, yet undeniably military in purpose. "The architecture is human," whispered Yoon, "but advanced, very advanced." They moved carefully through the silent hallways. Some sections showed clear signs of damage. Scorch marks on walls, panels torn open, and in one corridor, what looked like claw marks raked across the metal. "Something happened here," Junho said, examining a damaged section. "This looks like battle damage, but I'd never seen weapons that leave marks like these." After confirming the air was safe, they removed their helmets. The ship's internal systems seemed to respond to their presence. Lights brightened as they approached and dimmed behind them. Doorways opened automatically. "It's like the ship knows we're here," Ju said. Following what appeared to be main corridors, they eventually reached a large circular room with a central platform surrounded by control stations. The layout was similar to a standard Earth Coalition bridge, but far more sophisticated. "This technology is incredible," Junho whispered as they entered. "Look at these interfaces. They are designed for human use, but the underlying systems." His voice trailed off as he bent to examine a console more closely. Juwoo felt drawn to the central command station. It stood on a raised platform in the center of the bridge. As she approached, she noticed the controls had no physical buttons, just smooth black surfaces. Without thinking, she reached out her hand over the main console. The surface suddenly illuminated with blue light, startling her. Before she could pull back, the entire bridge came to life. Displays activated all around them, and a deep voice filled the chamber. "Identity confirmed. Genetic markers recognized. Activating EDLAS protocol." The team froze as a point of light appeared above the central platform. The light expanded and took form. A holographic figure of a man wearing what looked like an Earth Coalition uniform, but with unfamiliar insignia. The image was so clear and solid that for a moment, Juwoo thought a real person had somehow appeared. I am Atlas, Artificial Tactical Logistics and Strategy System of the ECS Kronos, the figure announced. Date of origin, 2325 CE. Dr. Yoon gasped. That's 300 years in the future. The holographic man turned to look directly at him. Correct, Atlas replied. His voice was deep and calm, almost human but with a subtle artificial quality. The Kronos was sent back through time deliberately. I am programmed to deliver a warning and provide assistance. The team exchanged shocked glances. Shu stepped forward. Warning about what? Atlas' expression became grave. Humanity faces extinction in my timeline, due to an alien force known as the Void Collective. Our mission is to change that outcome. Time travel isn't possible, Junho said, his face pale. The energy requirements alone would be approximately 1.8 times the annual energy output of Earth in your time period. Atlas finished. The technology was developed out of desperation. Why me? Ju asked, remembering how the ship had responded to her. Why did you recognize me? The hologram studied her face. Your genetic profile was programmed into my core systems as a primary authorization key. This suggests you have significant importance to the timeline we are attempting to create. Yoon stepped closer to Juwoo, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. Can you show us evidence of these aliens? The Void Collective. Yes. Atlas waved his hand, and the bridge darkened. A new hologram appeared, a creature that looked partly like an insect and partly like something from a nightmare. Its body was segmented with multiple limbs, covered in what appeared to be both organic armor and technological implants. The Void Collective discovered Earth in 2217, initially presenting themselves as peaceful explorers. By 2250, they had begun systematic elimination of human outposts. By 2300, Earth was under direct siege. Juwoo stared at the alien image, her mind racing. If what you're saying is true, we need to alert Earth Coalition Command immediately. I would advise caution, Atlas said. In my timeline, early warnings were dismissed as hoaxes or mass hysteria. This contributed to humanity's unpreparedness. Shunho, who had been examining one of the bridge stations, looked up with wide eyes. This ship, it's not just a messenger, is it? It's a weapon. Atlas nodded. The ECS Kronos is the most advanced warship ever created by humans. It was sent back as both warning and shield. Juwoo felt the weight of this discovery settling on her shoulders. Whatever happened next would change the course of human history. She activated her communicator. Captain Park, this is Lieutenant Commander Kim. You're going to want to hear this. The meeting room at Earth Coalition headquarters was filled with tension. Holographic displays showed images of the Kronos, while senior military and government officials argued loudly. 2 weeks had passed since the discovery of the mysterious vessel from the future, and Earth's leaders could not agree on what to do. Admiral Han Do-yoon slammed his fist on the table. This ship is the greatest technological discovery in human history. We must dismantle it and study every component. Think of the advances we could make. Across from him, General Kang Haijin shook her head firmly. And leave Earth defenseless. This ship was sent back for a reason. If these Void Collective aliens are real, we need the Kronos intact. Lieutenant Commander Kim Ji-woo stood quietly at the side of the room. She had spent the past 2 weeks aboard the Kronos, working with Atlas and learning about the ship's systems. Captain Park had assigned her as the primary liaison because of her unique connection to the vessel. Lieutenant Commander Kim, President Lee said, turning to her, you've spent the most time with this Do you believe its story? All eyes turned to Juwoo. She took a deep breath. Sir, I've reviewed the historical records Atlas provided. The evidence is compelling. The ship contains technology we can't even understand yet, much less reproduce. Breaking it apart would be a mistake. Admiral Han's face reddened. So we should trust our security to a machine that claims to be from the future. For all we know, this could be an elaborate trap. The debate continued for hours. Eventually, a compromise was reached. The Cronus would be moved to a secure research facility in orbit around Jupiter. It would remain intact while scientists studied it. Zhu would continue to work with Atlas as the primary contact. 3 days later, Zhu floated through the quiet corridors of the Cronus. The ship had been towed to the Jupiter facility, and most of the research team had retired for the night. She found herself drawn to the bridge, where Atlas awaited. The holographic figure appeared as she entered. "Good evening, Lieutenant Commander. I have questions," Zhu said, sitting at the command station. "You recognize my genetic signature immediately." "Why?" Atlas's expression became thoughtful. "Your genetic signature was specifically programmed as a command override," the AI explained. "This is not coincidence, Lieutenant Commander Kim." "But why me? I'm just a tactical officer on a patrol ship. I cannot access all classified data without proper authorization," Atlas replied. "However, I can tell you that in my timeline, your family line becomes significant to Earth's defense." Before Zhu could ask more questions, red lights began flashing throughout the bridge. A loud alarm echoed through the ship. "Security breach in engineering section," Atlas announced, his voice urgent, detecting non-human biosignatures. Zhu grabbed her sidearm. "Alert station security. Where's Engineer Choi?" "Engineer Choi Shuno is in engineering. His life signs show elevated stress." Zhu ran through the corridors, calling for backup on her communicator. 2 security officers joined her as she approached engineering. The doors were sealed. "Atlas, override door controls." The doors slid open. Inside, equipment had been thrown across the room. Shunho was backed against a wall, bleeding from a cut on his forehead. In front of him stood a humanoid figure with gray skin and large black eyes. It moved with unnatural speed, dodging Junho's attempts to fend it off with a tool. "Security, freeze," Zhu shouted, aiming her weapon. The gray figure turned toward them. Its face was almost human, but wrong in subtle ways. It hissed, revealing sharp teeth, then lunged toward them with impossible speed. The security officers fired, but the creature dodged most of the shots. One blast caught it in the shoulder, revealing not blood, but a thick black fluid. It crashed into one officer, throwing him across the room, then turned toward Zhu. She fired 3 shots directly into its chest. The creature staggered backward, then collapsed to the floor. Junho slid down the wall, breathing heavily. "It came out of nowhere," he gasped. "I was running diagnostics on the engine systems when it attacked me." More security personnel arrived. The creature was secured and taken to a containment unit for study. Later, after medical staff had treated Junho, he spoke privately with Zhu. "It wasn't just trying to kill me," he said, his voice low. "It was interfacing with our systems. It knew exactly what it was looking for." "Who was it? What was it?" Shunho's hands shook slightly. "They've been among us for months. This is a scout for the Void Collective. They know about the Cronus." Over the next few days, security was increased throughout the facility. Scientists examined the intruder, confirming it was not human despite its appearance. Its DNA was completely alien, and its body contained advanced cybernetic implants. Just as tensions began to ease, 3 unidentified vessels appeared near the Jupiter facility. They ignored all communication attempts and opened fire immediately. Earth's defense ships responded, but their weapons barely scratched the attacking vessels. Alarms blared throughout the station as systems failed and hull breaches were reported. "We need to activate the Cronus," Zhu told the station commander. "It's our only chance." With the commander's reluctant approval, Zhu led a skeleton crew aboard the Cronus. The ship came to life around them as Atlas guided them through the startup sequence. "Weapons systems online," reported a young ensign at the tactical station. "Target the lead vessel," Zhu ordered, settling into the command chair that somehow felt made for her. The Cronus moved with surprising grace for its size. Its advanced targeting systems locked onto the attacking ships, and energy weapons unlike anything Earth had developed fired brilliant beams of blue light. The effect was immediate. The 3 alien vessels didn't explode. They simply stopped, their systems completely disabled by a single shot each. As recovery teams moved to secure the disabled ships, Atlas appeared beside Jiwoo. This was just the beginning, he warned, his normally calm voice tinged with concern. They now know their advantage has been compromised. Jiwoo stared at the floating alien vessels on the view screen. The future had arrived early, and Earth was not ready. Then we'll have to get ready fast, she said quietly. The emergency alert woke Jiwoo from a deep sleep. Her quarters aboard the research station flashed with red warning lights as the station's AI announced, "All personnel to emergency stations. This is not a drill." Unknown vessels detected entering the solar system. She dressed quickly and ran to the command center. The large display screen showed dozens of red dots appearing throughout the solar system. More appeared every minute. "What's happening?" she asked the station commander. "They just started appearing 30 minutes ago," he replied, his face pale. "Jump points opening at Mars, Venus, the asteroid belt. They're everywhere." Junho burst into the room. The readings matched the Void Collective ships from Atlas's database, but there are hundreds of them. The communication system crackled to life. "This is Admiral Han. All Earth Coalition forces are ordered to defensive positions. This is a full-scale invasion." Jiwoo watched in horror as the first battles began. Earth ships engaged the alien vessels near Mars, but the fight was terribly one-sided. The aliens' weapons cut through Coalition shields like they weren't even there. "We need to get to the Cronus," Jiwoo said. "It's the only ship with technology advanced enough to fight them." The commander nodded. "Take whoever you need." Within an hour, Jiwoo had gathered a crew of 50 volunteers, not nearly enough to fully staff a vessel the size of the Cronus, but all they could spare. They boarded in a rush, racing to their stations. Atlas appeared on the bridge as Jiwoo entered. "The invasion force has arrived," the AI observed. "We need to launch immediately," Jiwoo said. "Can you operate with our limited crew?" "Yes. However, this attack is troubling. This is happening decades before it did in my timeline," Atlas stated. "They must have detected our temporal signature when we arrived." Across the solar system, reports of defeats came in. Earth's orbital defenses were holding, but barely. The moon base had already fallen silent. "How many ships in their fleet?" Jiwoo asked as the bridge crew worked frantically to prepare for launch. "I count 317 combat vessels," Atlas replied. "In my timeline, the first wave wasn't detected until 2217. The Cronus detached from the research station and powered up its engines. As the massive ship moved away from Jupiter, Jiwoo studied the tactical display. Earth forces were being pushed back everywhere. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "Maximum speed." The ship accelerated faster than should have been possible, the stars blurring outside the viewports. Chunho monitored the engine systems with wide eyes. "The power output is incredible," he said. "We're moving 10 times faster than our fastest ships." As they approached Earth orbit, they saw the battle raging. Earth's defense platforms fired continuously, but alien ships slipped through the gaps. Several cities already showed damage from orbital strikes. Jiwoo stood from her chair. "Prepare all weapons systems. Target the largest concentration of enemy ships." Before she could issue more orders, Atlas's hologram flickered. The bridge lights dimmed momentarily, then brightened. When Atlas reappeared, his uniform had changed, becoming more formal. "Command protocols fully unlocked," he announced. Captain Kim Jiwoo recognized. The bridge crew looked at Jiwoo in surprise. She stared at Atlas in confusion. "Captain, I'm not," she began. "In my timeline, your great-granddaughter, Captain Kim Murray, was the Kronos' designer and final captain," Atlas explained. She encoded your genetic signature as an emergency contingency. The ship is now yours to command. A new display appeared before Juwu, showing systems and weapons she hadn't known existed. The entire ship seemed to hum with new energy. With Earth's defenses failing, she had no time to process this revelation. She took the captain's chair and issued her first command. All hands, battle stations. Atlas, prepare main weapon systems. The Kronos moved into the battlefield, its advanced shields glowing as they absorbed attacks that had destroyed other coalition ships. An alien vessel nearly the size of the Kronos fired its main weapon directly at them. The bridge crew flinched, but the shield held easily. Return fire, Juwu ordered. The Kronos' weapons were unlike anything humanity had developed. Beams of energy that seemed to bend space itself lashed out, cutting an alien dreadnought in half. More ships approaching from Sector 7, reported the tactical officer. Target their propulsion systems, Juwu ordered, remembering tactics from her training. We need to limit their mobility. She found herself working instinctively with the ship's systems. It was as if the Kronos responded to her thoughts almost before she voiced them. Atlas coordinated with her, providing information about enemy weaknesses that the Void Collective wouldn't develop defenses against for centuries. 3 alien ships surrounded them, firing simultaneously. The shields flickered but held. Shield strength at 70%. Juno called out. Juwu targeted all 3 ships and fired. 2 were disabled immediately, but the third evaded. That one's using different tactics, she noted. Atlas, analyze its movement patterns. It appears to be a command vessel, Atlas replied. Targeting data uploaded to your console. Juwu saw the weak points highlighted on her display. She fired again, and the alien ship exploded in a burst of strange energy. For the next hour, the Kronos moved through Earth orbit, engaging Void Collective ships and protecting coalition vessels when possible. With each successful attack, Juwu grew more confident commanding the advanced ship. But the alien fleet was too large. For every ship they disabled, 3 more took its place. Earth's defenses were failing in multiple sectors, and ground reports indicated alien forces had landed in several locations. We can't be everywhere at once, Juwu said grimly as she watched another coalition cruiser explode. Even the Kronos has limits. A massive alien vessel, twice the size of any they'd seen before, emerged from behind the moon. It moved directly toward Earth, ignoring the battle around it. Atlas, what is that? Juwu asked. A world killer. Atlas replied, his voice grave. Designed to render planets uninhabitable. Juwu stared at the approaching threat. The Kronos was powerful, but they couldn't defeat an entire invasion force alone. They needed a new strategy, and quickly. Get me a direct line to Earth Coalition Command, she ordered. We need to coordinate our defense, or we won't survive the day. The massive alien ship, the World Killer, moved steadily toward Earth. On the Kronos' bridge, Juwu gripped the arms of her command chair. Their weapons had barely damaged the enormous vessel. Earth had maybe 1 hour before it came into firing range. We can't destroy it alone, she said, looking at the tactical display. Coalition ships fought bravely, but they were scattered and uncoordinated. An idea formed in her mind. We need to coordinate with the remaining fleet, Juwu decided. Atlas, broadcast tactical data to all coalition vessels. That would reveal our advanced targeting systems to the enemy, Atlas cautioned. We have no choice. Do it. Atlas nodded, and the ship's communication systems activated. Suddenly, every coalition vessel received detailed information about enemy weak points and movement patterns. This is Captain Kim Juwu of the ECS Kronos, she broadcast. All ships form up behind us. Focus fire on targets as we designate them. The scattered Earth forces began to rally. One by one, they formed a defensive line behind the Kronos. With the advanced targeting data, even their outdated weapons began to cause damage to the alien ships. During a brief pause in the fighting, Juwu left the bridge. There must be something more we can do, she said to Atlas as they walked through the ship's corridors. Take me to the main weapons control. Atlas led her to a sealed room deep within the Cronus. Inside was a circular chamber with a glowing central console. This is the primary weapons control, Atlas explained. Most systems are automated, but some require direct command authorization. Ju approached the console and placed her hand on it. The surface responded to her touch, revealing detailed files on the Void Collective. Their biology, technology, and battle strategies. They're vulnerable to sudden changes in radiation, she noted, scanning through the data. And their ships use a crystalline power core that becomes unstable under certain conditions. She continued searching through the weapons systems and found something unexpected. A section labeled Temporal Displacement Field. What is this? She asked. The Cronus's most advanced weapon, Atlas replied. It can selectively accelerate or decelerate time in targeted areas. It was experimental in my timeline, used only in the final battles. Ju studied the controls, her tactical mind quickly understanding the implications. This is how we win, she realized. Atlas, prepare the temporal displacement field. The system requires enormous power, Atlas warned. We can only use it on a limited number of targets before requiring a recharge cycle. Target the world killer first, then the command ships we've identified. Ju returned to the bridge as the next wave of Void Collective ships approached Earth. The world killer had nearly reached firing position. Temporal displacement field charged and ready, Atlas announced. Target the world killer and fire. The Cronus shuddered as it released an invisible wave of energy. Nothing seemed to happen at first. Then, around the world killer, space itself appeared to distort slightly. On the view screen, they watched in amazement as the massive ship began to change. Its hull darkened and cracked. Pieces began to break off. Within seconds, the mighty vessel was aging hundreds of years in real time. The field is causing it to experience centuries of time in seconds, Atlas explained. The world killer's systems failed catastrophically. Metal corroded, energy cores destabilized, and the entire ship began to collapse in on itself like a dying star. Target the next largest vessels, Ju ordered. One by one, they created bubbles of accelerated time around key enemy vessels. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before now crumbled into space debris. The Earth fleet, seeing their opportunity, concentrated fire on the remaining vessels. The Void Collective forces, suddenly facing a weapon they couldn't counter, began to retreat. Jump points opened throughout the solar system as alien ships fled. Cheers erupted across the bridge as the last enemy vessels disappeared. Reports came in from Earth. The ground forces were retreating as well, boarding their remaining ships and escaping. We did it, Junho said, tears in his eyes. We actually won. But Ju knew better. This was just the first battle, she said quietly. They'll be back, and better prepared next time. When the immediate crisis had passed, Ju found herself on the observation deck. Through the massive viewport, she could see Earth spinning peacefully below. The damage was visible. Several cities were burning, and the orbital platforms had been decimated, but humanity had survived. Atlas's hologram appeared beside her. The timeline has already changed, the AI noted. The future I came from will never exist now. Ju nodded, watching her homeworld. Then we'll create a better one, she replied. The Cronus wasn't sent back just to save humanity from extinction. We have a chance to help humanity thrive among the stars. She thought about what they had learned, the coordinates of Void Collective outposts, their technology, their weaknesses. For the first time in centuries, according to Atlas, humanity had an advantage. She turned from the viewport, determination in her eyes. Set course for deep space, Atlas. We're going to find the Void Collective's homeworld. This time, we're taking the fight to them. As the Cronus's engines powered up, Ju felt the weight of two timelines on her shoulders, and the opportunity to forge a new destiny for humanity. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about creating a future where humanity could reach its full potential among the stars. The massive ship turned away from Earth, its advanced engines glowing with power. The crew, still celebrating their victory, didn't yet know their captain's plan. But they trusted her. In just one day, Captain Kim Ji-woo had become a legend, the woman who saved Earth. As the Chronos accelerated toward deep space, Atlas spoke quietly. "Your great-granddaughter would be proud." Ji-woo smiled. "Let's make sure she gets the chance to exist in this timeline too." With that, the most advanced warship ever built disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying humanity's best hope for the future. The end.